Welcome to Chandwell. You may find roofs, especially hipped ones, a scary prospect. You may think that you need to understand maths, triangles and Pythagoras' theorem. You don't. All you need is a ruler and something to draw with. My name's Michael, and in this video I'm using the free software Inkscape, but the technique works just as well if you are using a pencil and a ruler. Here is a simple house in a straight-on elevation view. Here's the front of the house. Here's the side of the house. The side has a gable end and a 47.5° roof pitch rising to a point. The front of the house is going to be a standard roof running between the gable sides. We know that the roof needs to be a rectangle, but we also know that when bent back against the sides of the gable ends, the rectangle will need to be a little bit taller than I've drawn it so that it meets the apex, shown here by X and X, which need to meet. If we look at T&C Bakery, it's easy to see and understand that the rectangle of the roof needs to be the same height as the distance from the bottom of the roof triangle to the top. So all we need to do is measure the length of this side of the roof triangle, like so, 18.5mm. And we now just make the rectangle of the roof the same height, 18.5mm. Let's print this and see it in action. Once stuck to serial packet, we can see that simply folding the roof back on itself, it meets the apex perfectly. So what about hipped roofs then? In this example, the gable ends of the house are exactly the same as the previous one. The front of the house now has a roof whose sides slope in towards the ridge in a typical hipped roof formation. And again, X needs to meet X. So we are working with more complex shapes. How do we work out the angles so that everything matches up when we print it and fold it? The good news is, you don't need to worry about angles at all. The same technique we just used works in exactly the same way. So we have a drawing of the house in straight on view, and the pink dotted line shows the ridge line. Let's move the two components A and B up above. All we do is measure the length of the gable end as before, 18.5mm, and we simply make the front and back part of the roof the same height, 18.5mm. The angles change because we have stretched the component, but we don't care about that. If you're drawing this by hand, just keep the points the same distance from the edge, just make the whole thing taller. We repeat this for the gable end triangle. This time we measure the length of the front part of the roof triangle, 18.5mm, and we make the gable end triangles the same height. Let's get this printed. So printed and stuck to serial packet, when folded back, the edges of the roof meet in perfection. This process works with unusually shaped hips too. Let's take a look. What if we wanted our house, which is longer than it is deep, to have a pyramidal roof which meets at a point? Well, we use the exact same technique. We measure the gable end triangle length, 18.5mm. We make the front and the back roof sections the same height, 18.5mm. We measure the length of the triangle on the front and back, 23.02mm. Let's make the side roof sections the same height, 23.02mm. Print it, stick it, cut it, fold it back. Everything meets up in a perfect point and our roofs are symmetrical and exactly as designed. When we look at the three buildings side by side, we can see that they all maintain the same pitch, 47.5°, and all without a single thought to the angles of slope or the length of hips. So throw away your calculator and your pair of compasses. Forget your triangles and your squares, forget your hypotenuse and your sin, cos and tan. You only need a ruler and something to draw with. Of course, you don't have to make the roof in one piece that you fold. You can make it as separate sections or as a foldable unit of its own. Regardless of how you make it, this technique works to help you get the right shapes. So don't be scared of hipped roofs, go and make one. Hope that this has been useful. If it has, please press the thumbs up button below. This encourages me to keep making videos for Chandwell. My next video should show the completion of my station, along with 4 variations of hipped roofs. Until then, stay safe, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.